"Sir, you don't belong in first class." The words cut through the air like a sharp blade. Heads turned. Some passengers gasped. Others smirked. The man at the center of it all sat calmly in his seat, tall, well-dressed, his posture radiating quiet confidence. His name was David Carter, a successful businessman. But what no one knew, not the flight attendant, not the other passengers, was that David wasn't just a wealthy traveler. He was the secret owner of the very airline they were all flying on. It had been a long day for David. He had just finalized a huge international deal and was returning home. Exhausted, he boarded the flight, showing his first-class ticket at the gate like everyone else. But from the moment he stepped onto the plane, he felt the stares. Some passengers gave him suspicious looks. A few whispered. And then came Sandra, the flight attendant. Sandra forced a smile, but her eyes narrowed. "Excuse me, sir, are you sure you're in the right cabin?" David raised an eyebrow. "Yes, I'm in seat 1A. Sandra hesitated before letting him pass, but even then she hovered nearby, her suspicion clear. As boarding continued, Sandra returned. "Sir, I need to check your boarding pass again." David handed it over calmly. She studied it, frowning. "First class is usually reserved for our frequent executive travelers. Are you sure you didn't mean business class?" The implication was clear. David was a black man, dressed sharp but understated. In Sandra's mind, he didn't look like someone who could afford first class. David kept his composure. "I assure you, I'm right where I belong." But Sandra wasn't done. She leaned in closer, lowering her voice. "Look, sir, I don't want to make a scene. It's better if you move before I have to escalate this." The passengers nearby started whispering. Some shook their heads at David as if he was the problem. One man muttered, "These people always try to sneak their way up front." David's jaw tightened. He had faced discrimination before, but something about being humiliated in front of strangers struck deep. Still, he refused to lose his cool. "Ma'am, I have every right to sit here." Sandra crossed her arms. "Then I'll have security remove you." The announcement hit like thunder. Passengers began pulling out their phones, ready to record the incident. David sat still, his calmness contrasting with Sandra's rising hostility. Just as Sandra turned to call the captain, another voice interrupted. "Is there a problem here?" It was James Walker, the flight's senior purser, essentially Sandra's supervisor. He looked between the two of them. Sandra immediately launched into her version. "This passenger refuses to leave first class. His ticket must be a mistake." James took the boarding pass from David and scanned it. His eyes widened slightly. The ticket wasn't just first class. It was a priority executive ticket reserved only for the airline's top-level clients or owners. James froze. He recognized the name, David Carter. The man sitting calmly in seat 1A wasn't just any passenger. He was the silent owner of the airline, a man who had intentionally kept his identity private to see how his company operated from the customer's perspective. James's voice dropped to a whisper. "Mr. Carter, I apologize deeply for this misunderstanding." But Sandra cut him off, rolling her eyes. "Don't apologize to him. He's clearly lying." David finally stood, his tall frame commanding attention. His voice was firm but calm. "I've stayed quiet long enough. You don't need to worry about my ticket, Sandra. What you need to worry about is how you've treated a paying customer, with disrespect, prejudice, and arrogance." Gasps echoed through the cabin. Cameras kept rolling. David reached into his briefcase and pulled out a sleek leather folder. Inside were company documents, contracts, and, most shocking of all, a shareholder ID card with the airline's official seal. He held it up. "Allow me to introduce myself properly. My name is David Carter. I am the principal owner of this airline. And today, I came on board as a regular passenger to see how my staff treats people. Congratulations, Sandra. You've just shown me everything I needed to see." Sandra's face went pale. She stammered, I didn't mean. I thought." David didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His calm authority filled the cabin. You thought because of the color of my skin, I didn't belong here. You judged me before you knew me. That's not just unprofessional, it's unacceptable. Passengers who had mocked him earlier suddenly looked ashamed. Some even put their phones down, embarrassed. James, the supervisor, spoke quickly. Mr. Carter, please allow me to handle this. Sandra will be removed from duty immediately. David nodded but added, make sure this becomes a lesson for the entire staff. No passenger should ever feel humiliated for simply taking the seat they paid for. Sandra was quietly escorted off the plane before takeoff. Passengers whispered about what had just unfolded, some apologizing to David directly. During the flight, James personally ensured David received flawless service. Other crew members treated him with visible respect, but David didn't revel in it. He spent most of the flight quietly reflecting. When they landed, David addressed the cabin before anyone could disembark. I don't usually speak like this, he began, his voice carrying warmth and authority, but today was important. Not because I was disrespected, but because it showed me how easily prejudice can strip someone of dignity. What happened here should never happen again. Not on my airline, not anywhere. The passengers applauded. Some even stood, realizing they had witnessed something bigger than just a flight drama. News of the incident went viral overnight. Clips of David calmly revealing his identity spread across social media, gathering millions of views. The airline released an official statement the next morning, personally signed by David. Every passenger deserves respect, regardless of race, status, or appearance. We will be retraining our entire staff to ensure that dignity is never compromised in the skies. Sandra, meanwhile, faced disciplinary action. Some called for her firing, but David intervened. She doesn't need to lose her livelihood, he told the board. She needs to learn, grow, and face the consequences without hatred. Firing her won't change the world. Teaching her might. David's experience became a powerful reminder for millions who followed the story. Never judge someone by appearances. Respect should be universal, not conditional. True power isn't in wealth or titles, but in how you treat others. For David, it wasn't just about proving himself. It was about changing a culture, ensuring that every passenger who stepped onto his airline felt valued, respected, and safe. And for those passengers on Flight 782 that day, they would never forget the moment when a flight attendant tried to kick a man off his own plane, only to discover he was the owner all along. We must have to respect everyone. We don't need to judge who deserve respect or not.